February 3, 1998. The world watched as Texas carried out an execution that would divide public opinion like never before. The woman strapped to the gurney wasn't the kind of cold-blooded killer most people imagine when they think of death row. She was soft-spoken, she smiled easily, and she called herself a Christian. Her name was CARLA FAYE Tucker. Her crime: a double murder carried out with a pickaxe. Her fate: death by lethal injection. But her story asks one of the hardest questions in criminal justice. Should a person who truly changes still have to die for the crimes of their past? Carla Jean Tucker was born in Houston, Texas, in 1959. From the outside, it looked like she had a normal start. But inside her home, life was unraveling. Her parents' marriage fell apart when she was still young. Stability vanished overnight. Her mother, trying to keep her own life together, made choices that would shape Carla in dangerous ways. At just 8 years old, Carla was already experimenting with cigarettes, alcohol, and drugs. By 12, she was following her mother into biker bars. Not just visiting, living in that world. Surrounded by loud music, heavy drinking, and older men, she was exposed to things no child should see. By 14, she was using heroin. School no longer mattered. Childhood had ended long before it should have. For Carla, the biker underworld of Houston felt like freedom. Fast motorcycles, leather jackets, neon bar lights cutting through the Texas night. But it wasn't freedom. It was chaos. Violence, drug deals, and dangerous men. This became her normal. And in that world, she met someone who would change her life forever: Danny Garrett. Danny was older, tougher, a man who lived by the rules of the street. To Carla, he seemed like the kind of protector she'd been searching for her whole life. But what she really found was gasoline to her fire. Together, Carla and Danny were reckless. They partied harder, used more drugs, and pulled each other deeper into a spiral that would end in blood. In June of 1983, Carla and Danny went on a drug binge that lasted 3 days. No sleep, no clarity, just methamphetamine, alcohol, and paranoia. During that haze, Danny's anger turned toward a man named Jerry Dean. Jerry had crossed him. Some said it was over money, others said it was about jealousy. Whatever the reason, Danny couldn't let it go. Fueled by drugs and rage, Danny decided Jerry needed to pay. And Carla, strung out and desperate to please him, agreed. But what they didn't know was that inside Jerry's apartment that night was another person. Carla had a key to Jerry's place. Just after midnight, she and Danny slipped inside. Jerry was asleep in his bedroom. He woke to the sound of footsteps, but before he could react, Danny struck him with a hammer. Carla grabbed a pickaxe. She swung again and again. The sound of metal against bone filled the room. Then a scream. Another figure. Deborah Thornton. She wasn't supposed to be there. She had spent the night at Jerry's apartment, completely unaware of the danger coming. Carla later said she went into a frenzy. She struck Deborah with the pickaxe until the weapon lodged deep in her chest and stuck. 2 people were dead. And Carla Faye Tucker's life had changed forever. What shocked investigators wasn't just the brutality of the murders. It was what happened after. Carla didn't hide. She bragged. To friends, she described the killings with excitement. She admitted she felt a thrill, even claiming she had an orgasmic rush with every blow of the pickaxe. Those words would haunt her forever. Police quickly connected the dots. Carla and Danny were arrested. At trial in 1984, the evidence was overwhelming. Carla's own taped confessions were played for the jury. They heard her laugh while describing the murders. The jury didn't hesitate. CARLA FAYE TUCKER was sentenced to die by lethal injection. Danny Garrett received the same fate, though he died of natural causes in prison years before his execution date. At first, CARLA was the same defiant young woman who had bragged about murder. Angry, rebellious. But prison walls have a way of breaking people down. CARLA picked up a Bible. At first, it was just to pass the time. But soon, she claimed she felt something shift inside her. She said she had been saved. She called herself born again. And over the years, others noticed. Guards described her as polite. Inmates came to her for advice. Ministers saw her transformation as genuine. By the 1990s, CARLA wasn't just another inmate. She was seen as a symbol of redemption. She even married Dana Brown, a prison chaplain. As her execution date drew near, CARLA's story reached the outside world. She gave interviews, appearing calm, composed, and deeply remorseful. The media picked it up. Soon, her case wasn't just about crime. It was about forgiveness, redemption, and whether someone can truly change. Even the Pope asked Texas to spare her. Religious leaders across the globe joined the call. Even Ron Carlson, the brother of victim Deborah Thornton, publicly begged the state not to kill CARLA. He had forgiven her. But others weren't convinced. Prosecutors said her conversion was a manipulation. Victims' families reminded the world of the horror she caused. In 1998, the decision came down to Governor George W. Bush. On one side, global pressure, religious leaders, even the United Nations. On the other hand, Texas law and the memory of two people murdered with a pickaxe. Bush read the case, considered the pleas, and ultimately refused clemency. Texas would go forward with the execution. February 3, 1998. CARLA's last meal was simple: a banana, a peach, and a salad. At 6:37 p.m., she was led into the death chamber in Huntsville, Texas. Strapped to the gurney, she looked at the victims' families and gave her final words: "I am so sorry. I love all of you. I will see you when you get there." At 6:45, the chemicals entered her veins. Her chest rose once. Her lips parted. And then she was gone. CARLA was the first woman executed in Texas since the Civil War. Her death didn't silence the debate, it fueled it. To some, Texas proved that justice cannot be swayed by emotion or faith. To others, it was proof that the death penalty leaves no room for mercy, even for someone who changed. So what do you think? If someone truly changes, should they still pay the ultimate price? Or does justice demand that the punishment never change, no matter what comes after? Every case we cover tells more than just a crime. It reveals choices, consequences, and lives forever changed. If you want to keep exploring these real stories with us, click subscribe and join our true crime community today.